Have you ever noticed how easily your peace can be taken from you? One rude comment, one silent reply, one small disappointment, and suddenly your calm disappears. It feels as if the world holds a remote that controls your emotions. But here's the truth. No one truly owns your peace unless you hand it to them. The first step in Buddhist practice is awareness, the quiet remembering to return to yourself, even when everything around you pulls you away. Most people live as if their emotions belong to others. They react to every opinion, every delay, every glance, forgetting that peace is something you protect, not something others give. The Buddha taught that true freedom begins the moment we stop letting the outside world rule our inner state. When you stop giving your calm away so easily, you begin to feel something rare, a steady silence that no storm can shake. In this video, we'll explore how to reclaim that peace. You'll learn how Buddhist wisdom helps you respond instead of react, let go of unnecessary tension, and find calm even when life feels uncertain. By the end, you'll understand that your peace has always been yours. You only needed to remember how to hold it. Lesson 1. Stop adding the second arrow. When something painful happens, a rejection, a harsh word, a sudden loss, our first reaction is almost always resistance. We replay the moment again and again in our minds, wondering why it happened, what we could have done differently, or how unfair it was. But in that endless replay, we aren't feeling the pain of the event anymore. We're feeling the pain of our story about it. That's what the Buddha called the second arrow, the suffering we create after the wound. The first arrow is life itself. It's the natural pain that comes with being human. Disappointment, illness, change, loss. None of us can escape that. But the second arrow, that's the one we fire ourselves. It's the judgment, the blame, the why me thoughts that make the pain grow larger than it needs to be. The Buddha taught that awareness can stop that second arrow before it strikes. When you feel hurt, pause. Don't rush to label the moment as good or bad, fair or unfair. Just breathe and say gently to yourself, this is the first arrow. Notice what that does inside you. The moment you name it, the second arrow loses its aim. Learning to see events as they are, without the extra layer of story, is a quiet revolution. It doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop feeding the pain. The next time something hurts, don't dive into the storm of thoughts that follows. Just feel it, breathe with it, and let it pass through. This small practice may not change the world around you, but it will transform the world within you. Because every time you stop firing the second arrow, you step closer to freedom, the kind that no one can take away. Lesson 2. The open palm. There's a quiet moment in every person's life when they realize how exhausting it is to keep holding on, to plans, to people, to outcomes that refuse to unfold the way we want. We grip life so tightly, hoping control will bring safety. But the truth is, the tighter you hold, the more things begin to slip through your fingers. The Buddha compared this to clutching a rope during a storm. The harder you pull, the more it burns. Letting go doesn't mean losing care. It means losing control. Imagine holding a flower in your hand. If you squeeze it, you crush it. But if you open your palm, the flower still rests there, beautiful, alive, and free. This is what true detachment means in Buddhist practice. It's not about walking away from life or people. It's about being present with them without possession. You can love deeply, give fully, work sincerely, and still allow everything to breathe. When you stop trying to control life, you begin to see how naturally it flows. Each moment knows where to go. It doesn't need your constant pushing. The mind, however, loves to grip. It wants guarantees, outcomes, promises. But the Buddha taught that clinging, upadana, is the root of suffering. Peace comes when you loosen the grip and let things rest lightly in your awareness. So when you catch yourself overthinking, planning, or worrying, pause and look at your hands. Even physically open them. Whisper to yourself, let it rest. It's a simple gesture, but it rewires the heart. You stop wrestling with life and start dancing with it. Freedom isn't found in holding everything together. It's found in the open palm, where care still exists, but control has dissolved. When you learn to let things come and go with grace, you don't lose anything real. You only lose the tension that kept you from peace. Lesson 3. Flow with the river. Life is always moving. Every sunrise, every heartbeat, every breath, nothing ever stands still. Yet we keep trying to hold the world in place, to make things unfold exactly the way we want. We plan every step, rehearse every word, and resist every change. But no matter how tightly we try to control the current, life continues to move. Like a river that never stops flowing. The Buddha taught that suffering arises not because life changes, but because we keep demanding that it shouldn't. Imagine standing in a river with your hands pressed against the water, trying to make it stop. You'll only feel tired and frustrated, but the moment you let go, you feel the water glide past you. Cool, effortless, alive. That's what it means to act without attachment. You still show up fully, you still care, you still give your best, but you release the demand for a certain outcome. You trust that the river knows where to go, even when you don't. When you learn to act this way, something softens inside you. Anxiety fades, clarity rises. You begin to see that peace doesn't come from forcing life to obey your plans, but from aligning yourself with its rhythm. The Buddha called this right effort, doing what's wise and kind in this moment, then letting the results unfold naturally. So the next time you catch yourself trying to control what cannot be controlled, take a slow breath and remember, I can flow or I can fight, but the river moves either way. Choose to flow. Let life move through you, not against you. Because when you stop resisting change and start trusting its direction, the water that once felt chaotic begins to carry you home. Lesson 4. The trap of approval. Since childhood, we are quietly taught that to be loved, we must please. We learn to adjust our tone, our opinions, even our dreams to make others happy. We start to speak, dress, and behave in ways that win us praise or protect us from criticism. Over time, without realizing it, we begin to live like reflections, showing people what they want to see instead of expressing who we truly are. This constant search for approval becomes a subtle kind of prison. Every smile, every choice, every post begins to carry a hidden question. Will they like me for this? Buddhism teaches that this craving for approval is one of the deepest forms of attachment. It ties the mind in invisible knots, the desire to be praised and the fear of being judged. Both are forms of dependence, both steal our freedom. The Buddha reminded us that what others think of us lives in their mind, not in ours. Their opinions, whether good or bad, have no power unless we give them space to live inside us. The problem is that we've built our sense of worth on a foundation we don't control. We keep trying to prove something to people who are often too busy proving something themselves. So pause for a moment and ask yourself a simple but transformative question. Am I being true or just trying to be liked? This small act of awareness can change the direction of your entire life. When you live to be liked, your peace depends on how others see you. But when you live to be true, your peace comes from within. Living by your own values doesn't mean rebellion or indifference. It means integrity. It means acting with compassion, honesty, and purpose, even when no one notices. When your choices rise from clarity instead of approval, you begin to feel lighter, freer, and more grounded. The Buddha described freedom as being independent of the opinions of the world. That doesn't mean we become cold or distant. It means we stop letting other people's judgments decide our worth. You can still care, still love, still connect, but from authenticity, not performance. You realize that real relationships aren't built on pretending to be perfect. They are built on presence and truth. When you stop chasing applause, you discover something far more peaceful than being admired. You discover the quiet joy of being real. So the next time you feel yourself bending just to be accepted, take a slow breath and remind yourself, I am enough without approval. Feel how freeing that is. You don't need to convince anyone to value you. You only need to remember your own value. True peace doesn't come from being liked. It comes from being aligned. And once you live from that space, no opinion, no judgment, and no rejection can ever take your peace again. Lesson 5. You are the sky, not the storm. There are days when your mind feels like a storm, thoughts crashing like thunder, emotions rising and falling like waves. You try to calm it, to stop thinking, to force peace. But the more you fight the storm, the stronger it seems to grow. What if the goal was never to stop the storm, but simply to remember that you are not the storm at all? In Buddhist teaching, the mind is like the sky, vast, open, and untouched, while thoughts and emotions are just clouds passing through. Some clouds are dark, some are light, but none of them change the sky itself. Every thought that enters your mind has a simple purpose: to appear, to stay for a while, and to pass. But the problem begins when we mistake those thoughts for truth. A painful memory arises, and we say, "This is me." A worry appears, and we say, "This is my life." We start living inside the clouds and forget the open sky behind them. The Buddha taught that liberation begins with recognition, seeing thoughts and emotions for what they are. Temporary visitors, not permanent truths. The moment you observe them instead of obeying them, you create space. And in that space, peace begins to return. When a thought arises, "I'm not enough. They don't care. This will never change." Don't fight it. Don't argue or suppress it. Simply name it: thinking, judging, fearing. This small act of awareness separates you from the storm. You're no longer the one trapped in it. You're the sky watching it pass. That's mindfulness, not escape, but observation with compassion. Every time you do this, the clouds grow thinner, the sky grows clearer, and you begin to see that awareness itself has always been untouched. You are not your anger. You are not your sadness. You are not your fear. These are just passing conditions shaped by time, memory, and thought. They come and go, but the awareness witnessing them, that silent presence within you, remains steady. The Buddha said, "Just as the sky remains unshaken by the winds, so does the wise mind remain unmoved by praise or blame." That's the heart of true freedom. Not the absence of emotion, but the ability to see it without being swept away. So the next time your mind begins to storm, pause and look up. Not at the weather, but at the awareness behind it. Say gently to yourself, "I am the sky." Let the clouds pass, let the thunder fade, let each feeling come and go. Because no matter how dark or heavy it gets, the sky is always there, open, calm, and infinite. And that sky is you. Lesson 6. Boundaries are compassion. Many people confuse kindness with endless availability. We think being good means always saying yes, always showing up, always giving more, even when we're tired, overwhelmed, or quietly breaking inside. But true kindness isn't about how much of yourself you give away. It's about how clearly you protect the peace that allows you to love at all. In Buddhist understanding, compassion, metta, begins with yourself. You cannot offer calm to others if your own mind is restless. The Buddha taught balance, the middle way. Just as a string pulled too tight will snap, a life stretched beyond its limits loses harmony. Boundaries are what keep that balance alive. They are not walls. They are gentle gates that protect your energy and your clarity. Saying no isn't rejection. It's self-respect. It's recognizing that every yes to something misaligned is a quiet no to your own peace. When you set a boundary with love, you are not pushing people away. You are showing them where your truth begins. A calm mind needs clear limits. When you don't have them, resentment grows, energy drains, and your compassion turns into exhaustion. But when you learn to pause before agreeing, to breathe before committing, you give space for wisdom to speak. Ask yourself, does this align with peace? Does this nourish or deplete me? If the answer feels heavy, it's okay to step back. Silence can be an act of love. Distance can be an act of care. Remember, even the Buddha withdrew into solitude to renew his strength. He understood that presence without peace helps no one. So, the next time guilt tells you to do more, pause and return to yourself. Protecting your calm is not selfish, it's sacred, because when your inner world is steady, your kindness becomes pure again, free of exhaustion or resentment. Boundaries, held with compassion, are what keep love sustainable. And in that balance, both you and the world around you begin to heal. Lesson 7. The power of stillness. In a world that rewards noise and speed, stillness can feel like rebellion. We are trained to respond instantly, to messages, to opinions, to every flicker of emotion that passes through us. But Buddhism teaches that silence is not emptiness. It is the ground where wisdom grows. A calm mind does not rush to speak or react. It observes, it breathes, it understands. The power of stillness lies not in doing nothing, but in choosing wisely when to act. The Buddha often compared the mindful person to a clear pond. When the surface is calm, you can see your reflection. When it's disturbed, everything blurs. The same is true for the mind. Every time you react in haste, to anger, to judgment, to fear, you stir the waters of your own peace. But when you stay still, even for a moment, clarity returns on its own. Silence and non-reaction are not weakness. They are signs of inner strength. It takes far more courage to stay calm than to shout. You don't have to respond to everything. Some things lose power the moment you stop feeding them. Every pause you take between impulse and action is a doorway back to peace. The next time you feel the urge to react, to send that message, defend your point, or prove yourself, stop and breathe. Feel the space between the thought and your response. In that small pause lives your freedom. That's where mindfulness begins. The quiet knowing that not everything deserves your energy. The Buddha said, "Better than 1,000 hollow words is one word that brings peace." When you act from stillness, your words become fewer but stronger. Your energy becomes softer but deeper. You begin to live from awareness, not reflex. And soon you realize that peace doesn't come after you've fixed everything outside. It arrives the moment you stop letting everything outside pull you away from yourself. So today, practice the pause. When conflict appears, breathe once before replying. When your mind races, sit for a minute in silence. Stillness isn't a retreat from life, it's a return to it. Because in the space between reaction and response, your true power begins to shine. Quiet, steady, and unshakable. Lesson 8. Let go of outcomes. So much of our suffering comes from trying to control what cannot be controlled. We plan carefully, we give our best, we hope for a certain result. And when things don't go our way, we feel defeated, as if life owes us the outcome we imagined. But the Buddha taught that attachment to results is one of the most subtle chains of the mind. It keeps us chasing, worrying, and waiting instead of simply being. Peace doesn't come from perfect outcomes. It comes from releasing our grip on them. Imagine a farmer planting seeds in the soil. He doesn't dig them up every morning to check if they've grown. He waters them, trusts the seasons, and lets time do its quiet work. Worrying never makes the harvest come faster. Patience does. The same is true for every effort in your life. You can plant the right intentions, take the right actions, and still not know when the fruit will appear. That uncertainty is not failure, it's nature. When you try to force timing or results, you create tension. But when you trust the process, peace takes root in your heart. The Buddha called this living with right effort, to act wisely, wholeheartedly, and then let go. The energy of attachment turns your actions into struggle. The energy of trust turns them into prayer. So the next time you work hard towards something, pause at the end and whisper, "I've done my part. Now I release the rest." That small act of surrender doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop carrying what isn't yours to hold. Remember, your duty is to plant the seed, not to command the rain. Some outcomes take time. Some may never appear the way you expect, but they always lead you where you need to go. Patience is not waiting with frustration. It's resting with faith. When you let go of results, you discover the quiet freedom of living in the present moment. You begin to find joy in the doing, not just in the becoming. And that is the heart of Buddhist peace, to act with full sincerity and then trust the unfolding of life. So today, plant your seed, water it with presence, and step back. Let time, not tension, do its work. Because when you release the need to control outcomes, life begins to grow in its own perfect rhythm, and you finally have space to breathe. Lesson 9. Walk away quietly. There comes a time when you realize that not every situation deserves your energy. You've argued enough, explained enough, tried enough, and somewhere deep inside, you sense that peace doesn't come from winning the argument. It comes from no longer needing to have one. Buddhism teaches that clinging to what disturbs your peace is like holding a burning coal, hoping the other person will feel the pain. The Buddha said, "Hatred does not cease by hatred, it ceases by love." And sometimes love simply means walking away in silence. Walking away isn't weakness, it's wisdom. It's the moment you stop pouring your light into places that refuse to shine. In life, not every fire is yours to put out. Some flames burn because they must, to teach you where not to stand next time. The ego tells you to stay, to fight, to prove your point. But the awakened mind knows that calm is the higher victory. When you leave with peace in your heart, you carry your power with you. You stop being controlled by noise and return to the stillness within. The Buddha often spoke of right energy, using your strength where it brings growth, not exhaustion. Every time you stay in a conflict that drains you, you're spending life on what doesn't deserve it. Peace isn't found in convincing others to change. It's found in protecting your own clarity. When you feel the urge to argue, to fix, or to explain again, breathe. Ask yourself, is this worth my peace? Most of the time, the answer will be no, and that's your signal to step back. To walk away quietly means to trust that you don't need to announce your peace for it to be real. You don't need to prove your goodness or defend your silence. You simply choose calm over noise, distance over drama, clarity over chaos. And as you leave, you'll notice something sacred. The weight on your chest begins to lift and the world feels lighter again. So today, if something or someone keeps disturbing your peace, remember, you don't have to fight to be free. You just have to walk away. Gently, without anger, without noise, and return to yourself. Because the softest exit often holds the loudest power. Lesson 10. Daily practice of peace. Peace is not something that arrives all at once. It's built quietly, in small, consistent moments, in the breath you take before reacting, in the kindness you choose when it's hard, in the patience you offer yourself when you fall short. The Buddha taught that transformation happens not through grand gestures, but through steady awareness. Just one mindful breath at the start and end of each day can change the rhythm of your entire life. That single pause is a reminder. You are here, you're alive, and this moment is enough. Start each morning with awareness. Before reaching for your phone, before diving into the noise of the world, take one deep, conscious breath. Feel your body wake up. Notice the air moving in and out, and silently say, "May I meet today with calm." When you eat, eat slowly. When you walk, walk with presence. When you speak, choose words that create peace, not noise. These simple acts might seem small, but they are the foundation of a strong, steady mind. The Buddha said, "What you repeatedly think and do, you become." Every moment of awareness plants a seed of peace. Over time, these seeds grow into unshakable calm. You begin to notice that anger fades faster, that chaos touches you less, that silence feels more like home. And the best part? You don't need perfect discipline or long hours of meditation. Only sincerity. Just begin again, each day, each breath, each step. So tonight, before you sleep, return to that same awareness. Take one gentle breath and whisper inwardly, "I am grateful for this day. I release what is done. I rest in peace." This is how the peaceful life is built, not through control, but through practice. Small moments, repeated with love, become the rhythm of awakening. And in that rhythm, you'll find that peace was never far away. It was always waiting in the space between one breath and the next. May you return to yourself again and again. May your heart stay gentle and your mind still. And may no one and nothing ever steal your peace. You've walked through these lessons, learning to let go, to trust, to stay calm within change. But the real practice begins now, in the quiet moments of your daily life. Every breath, every pause, every act of awareness is a chance to return home to peace. Remember, enlightenment isn't somewhere far away. It's in how softly you meet this very moment. If these reflections brought stillness to your heart, I invite you to stay on this path with us. Subscribe to Deepest Wisdom, a space where each video is a step toward inner freedom, where we learn to live with calm minds and open hearts. Until next time, breathe gently, walk slowly, and trust that peace has never left you.